a giant royal crab just caught from the sea, fishing on the Golden Coast right in the open sea, catching fresh crayfish, and the delightful views of beautiful mountains, forests, and the sea. Stay tuned, dear adventurers, for a feast of laughter and flavor awaits. Greetings from the captivating realms of Azerbaijan, where vibrant, clear streams dance gracefully amidst awe-inspiring vistas and the freshest of air. Today, I, your faithful servant from sunny Azerbaijan, invite you on a journey of tastes and traditions, where the main star will be the giant royal crab. We will prepare it with my signature sauce and enjoy an exquisite lunch by the sea. And hey, while you're here enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell to be the first to know all the news. In Azerbaijan, when spring arrives, nature comes alive and gifts us with its treasures. The royal crab is one of those treasures. This seafood delicacy is not only incredibly delicious, but also holds the spirit of the deep sea. Today, I will show you how to properly prepare the royal crab so that it reveals all its flavor and aroma. Just look at this giant crab. I can only imagine how delicious it will be when I prepare it. I give a big thumbs up to this wonderful seafood delicacy. Since ancient times, there has been a special tradition in Caucasian culture related to fishing. Men and women dressed in simple yet comfortable clothes carry old fishing rods, baskets, and nets. And we have already cast our nets into the clear waters of the Caspian Sea. And luck has smiled upon us today as the spirits have been kind to us. Crayfish have been caught in our trap, which means we're in for an amazing lunch. Their chitinous shells shine in the sun, while their claws rise threateningly into the air. There is something magical and mesmerizing about catching crayfish. Each crayfish caught in the net is a little miracle, part of a great underwater world that will now become part of a meal prepared with love and skill. We rinse our crab in seawater to clean it from seaweed and let it soak up its aroma and flavor. And soon we will begin cooking it. According to ancient tradition, after gathering enough crayfish, fishermen settled down in a meadow. They light a small fire to brew tea and have a snack. At this moment, everyone feels a deep connection with nature and the sea, filling their hearts with warmth and tranquility. One of the elders begins to tell stories about his childhood, when he also came to this shore with his father and grandfather. These tales, full of wisdom and humor, warm the soul and remind everyone present of the importance of traditions and family values. After resting, the fishermen gather their belongings and head home with their baskets full of catch. Meanwhile, we begin the process of preparing our royal crab. The cleaning and preparation of the royal crab is a process that requires care and attention to detail to preserve the flavor and texture of the meat as much as possible. The first step is to remove the limbs. You need to break off the claws and leg from the crab's body by twisting them and then pulling them down. Next comes cutting the shell. You need to flip the crab onto its back and find a small hole in the underside of the shell. Then insert a knife there and carefully cut the shell in half. I do this by hand. Don't forget to check out our assortment in the store. Who knows, you might find something that impresses your friends and makes your neighbors beg for your cooking secrets. All information is in the description below the video, or you can also scan the QR code on the screen. After cutting the shell, you need to remove the gills. Take off the top part and remove the gills, which look like translucent feathers from both sides of the crab's body. After butchering, you should extract all the meat from the crab. This process takes some time, but the result is worth it. We start removing the meat from the body. You need to split the crab's body in half and remove the meat from the internal sections using a knife or spoon. Be careful not to damage the structure of the meat. Then move on to the claws. It's better to use tongs or pliers to carefully crack open the claws. Then extract the meat using a fork or knife. Again, in my case, I prefer to work with my hands. After that, we remove the meat from the legs. Using scissors, cut the legs lengthwise and take out the meat. You can also use a small fork or skewer to extract the meat. Just look at how much meat is in this crab. This is not like those meager scraps served in expensive restaurants that charge a fortune for it. Cut the legs carefully so as not to damage the integrity of the meat. Pay attention to its color. It speaks of our crab's freshness. In general, royal crabs are amazing creatures that not only impress with their size, but also offer delicate meat that is valued worldwide. There are several species of royal crabs, but the most well-known are red, blue, and golden royal crabs. The red royal crab is considered the most valuable and popular among them. The meat of royal crab has a sweet, delicate flavor and firm texture. Meanwhile, we are already lighting up some wood and will soon move on to cooking our crab. Spring in Azerbaijan is a time of awakening and renewal. Meanwhile, I move on to chopping vegetables for our dish, starting, of course, with the onion. In Azerbaijan, there is a rich tradition of combining meat with vegetables, which is an integral part of the culinary culture of this country. Vegetables are served with meat, not only to complement its flavor, but also to create a harmonious and balanced dish. Next, we take garlic for our crab, and it needs to be chopped quite coarsely. I grew up in a small Azerbaijani village. We lived simply but happily. I remember how my grandmother cooked on an old stove, and the aroma of her dishes still lingers with me. These memories inspire me to create new recipes and share them with you. That's why I got into this field and continue to pursue it. My love for cooking came from those simple days filled with love and warmth. And every time I cook, I feel that I'm continuing the work of my ancestors. The firewood has heated up enough. Soon we'll need to put our crab to cook. We take some firewood for our samovar. I plan to take a little break soon and enjoy my favorite tea. And don't forget to follow us on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. There you will find even more useful and interesting content. Meanwhile, we cut the orange in half and squeeze its juice into the pot where our crab will be cooked. Then we take raisins and add a little water to them. Why, you might ask? During drying, storage, and transportation, tiny particles of dust and dirt can stick to the berries. Therefore, before consuming raisins, they need to be thoroughly processed with warm water, soaking them for 20 to 30 minutes beforehand. We sprinkle everything with a pinch of salt and ground black pepper and pour water over it all. Additionally, we put the chopped onion in there and mix everything well. We set one of the components for our delightful sauce to cook over the fire. Now we move on to the second part of preparing our sauce. For this, we need ketchup, mayonnaise, cream, mustard, chili sauce, and we mix everything well until we achieve a uniform consistency. You know, this sauce is perfect for any seafood. It's creamy, delicate, and will beautifully enhance the best qualities of crab meat and any other fish. To our spicy part of the sauce that's cooking over the fire, we add lemon. In Azerbaijan, cooking is not just a way to satisfy hunger. It's a special form of art through which centuries-old traditions, cultural values, and stories of the peoples who inhabited this land are passed down. Every dish prepared in an Azerbaijani home is a symbol of family warmth, hospitality, and respect for nature. Meanwhile, I pour the contents of the pot into a sieve and now need to wait until the juice for our future sauce separates from the raisins. We press down on our raisins well so that the juice flows out faster. Next, we add this divine nectar to the creamy part of the sauce. We mix everything well. The aroma is simply magnificent. You'll want to lick your fingers. Azerbaijani cuisine is closely connected with nature, and this is especially noticeable in the choice of ingredients. The rich climate and diverse landscapes, from mountains to coastal areas, offer a wide range of products. Meanwhile, we move on to preparing crayfish. Crayfish are easy to cook and do not require complicated ingredients. The main method of preparation is boiling in salted water with the addition of spices and herbs. In many countries, crayfish are considered a delicacy and are a key ingredient in traditional dishes. To begin with, it's necessary to rinse the crayfish under cold water to remove dirt and sand. It's better to keep them alive until cooking so that they do not spoil and have a fresh, pleasant taste. Crayfish are rich in protein, vitamins B12 and E, and contain beneficial minerals such as zinc and magnesium. The meat of crayfish is low in calories and virtually fat-free, making it a healthy and dietary product. Meanwhile, we add water to the pots and bring it to a boil. Soon, our crayfish will be in there. In today's world, where the pace of life is accelerating and new technologies are permeating all areas of life, the traditions of Azerbaijani cuisine retain their significance and relevance. These traditions remind us of the importance of family ties, respect for nature, and the joy that can be found in simple things. Azerbaijani cuisine is more than just food. It's a way to preserve culture, history, and traditions. Meanwhile, we have already halved our corn and are moving on to chopping leeks. Leeks differ from regular onions in appearance. They have a sweeter and more delicate taste than regular onions and are mainly used in soups, stews, salads, and other dishes. Next, we chop the onion. Then we move on to chopping carrots. Regular consumption of carrots has a beneficial effect on the cardiovascular system. The vegetable helps lower cholesterol levels and improves blood vessel elasticity. We add a bit of dill for aroma. Next comes the most interesting part, adding fruits, specifically lemons and oranges. Today, I want to surprise you with something. What could surprise you more than combining opposites in one dish? Sweet and salty, fruits and vegetables. You can never have too much garlic. And then we leave all this delicious beauty to boil in a large cauldron. We add bay leaves for aroma, black pepper and salt for taste. It looks absolutely delightful. We place the crayfish on top and boil them for 17 to 20 minutes until they turn a bright red color. Crayfish should only be boiled alive. Why? The thing is, they start to decompose very quickly. There's no guarantee that you will manage to bring the product to your stove and start cooking in time. Eating boiled dead crayfish poses a significant risk of poisoning. Meanwhile, we take a short break for a cup of tea. We just need to let it steep a little. Today is one of the few videos where, unfortunately, I'm not having guests. However, this is quite rare, as you know. Hospitality is another important trait of Azerbaijani culture, and cuisine plays a central role in it. Meanwhile, I'm starting my own tea ceremony. In Azerbaijan, where the custom of tea drinking is widespread, tea is considered a symbol of hospitality and respect for guests. It is traditional to serve tea before the main dishes. Azerbaijanis believe that tea encourages conversation and informal communication. Azerbaijanis drink tea not from porcelain cups, but from special pear-shaped glasses that resemble small glasses. These glasses are called armudu. Tea is usually drunk hot, and to avoid burning fingers, the glass is placed on a saucer. Traditionally, to preserve the taste of freshly brewed tea, sugar or sugar sand is not added to it. Usually jam, like Cornell jam in my case, lump sugar or sweets are served with tea. Tea is often enjoyed with bites of food. Before taking the first sip, it's customary to dip the sugar into the tea and take a bite. Meanwhile, our crayfish are already taking on the desired color. We just need to wait a little longer. The beauty of life in such an area lies in its purity and naturalness. There's no urban hustle and bustle. The air is fresh and clear, and the views of majestic mountains and green valleys seems endless. We live in close contact with nature, feeling its rhythms and cycles. Nature here is not just a backdrop, but an integral part of life that influences its structure and pace. And our crayfish have been served at the table along with a side dish. Crayfish are not only a delicious delicacy, but also part of the cultural heritage of many peoples. They adorn tables during holidays and family meals, delighting everyone with their exquisite taste and aroma. Cooking crayfish is a process that brings people together, creating an atmosphere of joy and pleasure from communication and food. And now, it's time for tasting. How to eat a crayfish properly. Tear off the legs and claws and squeeze out their contents with your teeth. There's very tasty meat in there, and it's not that little. Separate the tail, if you wish. You can drink the broth from the front part of the crayfish after tearing off the tail. If you find roe under the tail, feel free to eat it. It's very tasty. Don't forget to check out our assortment in the store. Who knows, you might find something that impresses your friends and makes your neighbors beg for your cooking secrets. All the details are on the screen. Meanwhile, we've already enjoyed the wonderful taste of crayfish a bit, and we'll be serving them boiled at the table, while I have other plans for the cleaned ones. We sprinkle them with a little wheat flour, mix everything well, and then we will fry them additionally. We add a good amount of vegetable oil to the pot, and after that, we place the cleaned crayfish in there. What a delightful smell! They need to be cooked for just about 5 to 7 minutes to avoid ruining the taste of the meat. After that, we take out the cooked meat into a separate dish. Fried crayfish is a separate kind of art. And if you serve them with my wonderful sauce, it's impossible to stop eating this dish. By the way, the shell of a giant crab can be later used as a sauce dish. Don't thank me for the life hack of the year. How delicious it is. Definitely the best thing I've tried lately. I give this recipe a huge thumbs up. Super. And as the video comes to an end, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell to be the first to know all the news. And if you want to support our channel, visit our online store page and order useful gifts for yourself and your loved ones. See you in new videos.
Mağazanın linki videonun altındaki təsvirdə var. Super.